Hello and welcome all of you students. Let's continue with our next lecture from the unit 6. In the previous lecture, we have discussed regarding the loop optimization and different techniques of the loop optimization. So today we'll discuss the next topic in the unit 6. So today we'll discuss about the different categorization or phases of the optimization, and also in detail we will discuss about the what is exactly is the local optimization and what is the DAG based local optimization. This point we will see in details, and in the next lecture then we'll see the details of global optimization. So already we have discussed what is exactly the concept of optimization in compiler design. So the code optimization in compiler design is nothing but the part of the synthesis phase, that is the backend, where different transformation techniques are there in the code optimization. And what exactly the code optimization, that modifying the program, that is your intermediate code. If you are performing the code optimization before the final machine code generation, so rearranging or modifying your particular intermediate code, so that the program can become time efficient and the space efficient or the memory efficient, and speed of the program execution will be improved. So this modification and rearrangement that we do in the code optimization, that must be done without affecting the final meaning of the program or output of the program. Okay. So same thing I have mentioned here is through the code optimization, we try to improve the intermediate code by making it consume the fewer resources like fewer CPU and memory, so that the faster running machine code will be get generated afterwards. Okay, so that is the aim of performing the code optimization. And through the code optimization process, following objectives can be achieved, like the optimization must be correct, it must not be what we can say, the meaning of the program should not be get changed. Okay, the output of the program should not be get violated or changed. Then through the optimization, the speed of the execution and the performance of program should be get increased. These are the some objectives. Okay, and the compilation time also must be kept reasonable, or the compilation time also should be get decrease. Okay, means within a less amount of time compilation should get performed. And through the optimization, it should not be happen that compilation process is get delay. Understood? So that is all the things that already we have discussed, what exactly compiled code optimization and why we need to perform the code optimization, etc. Okay, so generally, the code optimization for the code optimization, there are the two types. Means depends on when the code optimization get performed, depends on that there are the two types of the code optimization. Okay, in that, first is the machine independent code optimization, and second is the machine dependent code optimization. So already I told you, when the code optimization get performed before the code generation, then that optimization is called as a machine independent optimization. Same thing I have mentioned, this code optimization phase attempt to improve the intermediate code to get it better target code as a output. Okay, so this get performed before the code generation, and on which code this optimization get performed, on the intermediate code. Okay, so the part of the intermediate code which is transformed or get changed does not involve any CPU register or the memory location, etc., etc. Okay, so it is called as a machine independent because when the particular changes are being done in the intermediate code through the different transformation technique, there is a no need to think about the CPU register instructions and memory location, etc. Understood? So that is the reason it is referred as a machine independent. Then second category, second type, we have the machine dependent. And This is get performed after the code generation. If you see the back end of the compiler, okay, then you know this is the back end of compiler like this. This is a code optimization phase. So intermediate code is given as an input to the code optimizer phase. It's a code optimizer phase. Then next we have the code generation. Okay, so to generate the code, optimized code is sent, okay, from the code optimizer phase. And then after the code generation also, there can be a code optimization get performed. Okay. And the code optimization which get performed after the code generation, that is called as a machine dependent optimization or machine dependent code optimization. Okay. So here I mentioned the machine dependent optimization is done after the target code has been generated and when the code is transformed according to the target machine architecture. Okay. So as you can see, the this optimization get performed after the target code generation. So it involves the CPU register and memory references and the different kind of machine instructions are there, has to be considered when you are performing the optimization after the code generation. Okay. So machine dependent optimizer put effort to make the maximum advantage of the memory hierarchy. Okay. So the optimization which we perform the after the code generation, that is referred as a machine dependent optimization. And through this machine dependent optimization, the modification can be done on the finally generated target code, so that the execution speed can be get improved. Understood? So there are the two times where you can perform the where the compiler can perform the where the optimization can be performed. That is before the code generation, that is a machine independent optimization, and after the code generation, that is a machine dependent optimization. Okay. Then now here I have to discuss the two types phases of the optimization. Okay. So generally there are the two types of the optimization are there. Okay. In that first we have the local optimization and second we have the global optimization. Okay, so here you can see there are the two types of the optimizations are there. Uh, as I told you, one is the uh, local optimization and another is the global optimization. Okay. Now, from the name only, you can understand what exactly it means. Local optimization means what, and the global optimization means what. Okay. So first we discuss about the local optimization. So transformation which are applied to the small blocks of the statements means optimization or modification or rearrangement which is done to the only small block of statements. Small block of statements in the sense to the only single basic block. Okay, if you apply the optimization within a basic block only for the one basic block only, now you must understood what do you mean by the basic block. Last time we were saying the basic block is nothing but the consecutive sequence of statement without any branching or jumping. Okay, so if we perform the optimization to only the some small block of statement, or if we perform the optimization within a basic block only for only one basic block, then that kind of optimization is called as a local optimization. Understood? And this kind of optimization generally get performed before the global optimization. So here third statement I have written, it is applied to the basic block in isolation. Basic block in isolation means what? This kind of optimization is done in case of only the single basic block at a time. Okay. That is the reason here it is mentioned applied to the basic block in isolation. So separately for each basic block, if you perform the optimization restricted to that single basic block only, then only that optimization is referred as a local optimization. Now let's take the example. So generally local optimization is also called as a intra block uh, optimization. Intra block in the sense within a basic block one. Understood? Now if you see, this is the example. For example, you have the statements like x equal to 10, a equal to b plus c, and z equal to x plus y. So there is a no jump instruction in between this. This instruction will get executed sequentially. So this is a sequence of consecutive statements. That is the reason we can call this form one particular basic block. Understood? Now if the optimization is performed in between these three statements only, which is within this basic block. For example, we call it as a basic block 1 only. So if you perform the optimization within these three statement only and within this single basic block only, then that is called as a local optimization. Understood? So like this, if you perform the optimization like as x equal to 10, a equal to b plus c. So here z equal to, instead of writing x plus y, you can write the 10 plus y, because already we know the value of compiler already know the value of x is 10. So compiler do what? Compiler now what is the name of such kind of optimization technique? It is called as a constant propagation. Okay, last time we have studied the techniques. So this is the constant propagation technique which is related with the local optimization. So constant propagation, local optimization, you can call to this particular transformation that we have done here. So here you can see you have applied the, or you have done the rearrangement of the code or modification of the code within a basic block only. Okay, within this basic block only. Understood? That is the reason it is called as a local optimization. Okay, so here we are considering only the single basic block and doing the rearrangement of the code. That is the reason it is called as what? Local optimization. Okay, now as compared to that, you can see we have the second type of optimization, that is a global. So from the name also you can understand global is a slightly different from the local. Okay, local in the sense which is being performed on the some restricted some restricted set of statement only. So global generally perform between the basic blocks. Okay, so here I have mentioned transformation are applied to the large program segment that include function, procedure, loops, etc., etc. So global optimization generally get performed between the basic blocks. Okay, so here you can easily understood the difference between the local optimization and the global optimization. So local optimization is called as an intra block, whereas the global optimization also called as an inter block. Means inter block in the sense the optimization which get performed between the basic blocks. Okay, not just for the single basic block, but optimization get performed between the basic blocks. It means what? When we are doing the optimization, if you have to interact with another basic block to perform the optimization, if you have to communicate with another basic block to do the optimization, then that is considered as an inter block code optimization. That is called as a global optimization. Okay, now let's take the example. For example, there are the four basic blocks, as you can see: basic block 1, basic block 2, basic block 3, and this is a basic block 4. Okay, now for some particular intermediate code, these basic blocks are formed. Now how the basic block form, what are the rules for that, that already I told you. Here we have just taken the example so that you can understand what is the concept of global optimization. Now here in this basic block b1, x equal to 10, y equal to 0, d is greater than p, and then on the basis of condition the two other basic blocks are here: a equal to b plus c, c equal to k, and b3 m greater than n, and b4 s is equal to x plus y plus z. Now this example we have seen here. Okay, this example we have seen here. This is also the example of constant propagation, which is called as a, now but this is a local constant propagation. Why we are calling it as a local? Because it is get performed only within a basic block. Now this is also the example of constant propagation, but this is a global constant propagation. Now why it is why I'm calling this as a global, let's see. Okay, so as I told you, these are the four basic block: b1, b2, b3, okay, and the b4, as you can see. Now how we can how the optimization can be performed here like this. Now optimization of this is being shown here like this. Like this is a before optimization, this is after the optimization. Same, this is a before optimization, this is a after optimization. Now what changes we are can be done here? Now changes is done in the basic block b4 here, as you can see. Now here you can see s is equal to x plus y plus z. Now instead of writing the x plus y, you can directly write here 10 plus 0, because you already know the value of x is 10, y equal to 0. Understood? So we can propagate the constant. Okay, propagating the constant in the sense replacing the variable with the value, replacing the variable with particular constant value in the next part of the program. Okay, so here instead of writing the x equal to s is equal to x plus y plus z, you can write here 10 plus 0 plus 0. or you can directly write like this also, 10 plus z also you can write here, and because of that you can easily see there is a no need to write the x plus y here. Understood? So while you are performing this optimization, okay, this block b4 has to interact with the block b1. Understood? So b4 can perform the optimization by interacting with the block, basic block b1. Understood? So here, now if you see this example here, you don't have to interact with other basic block. Understood? You are performing the optimization within a basic block only. But here, to perform the optimization, the one basic block has to communicate with the other basic block. Understood? One basic block has to interact with another basic block. Only then the optimization can be performed. That is the constant propagation. And if such kind of things is there, that is called as a global optimization. Okay. So this global optimization part in the next unit also we will discuss. uh, Now, to perform the global optimization, there is a need of different kind of techniques also, like that is considered as the control flow and data flow analysis techniques are required to achieve the global optimization. Understood? So this graph is nothing but the called as a control flow graph. Last time also I told you this graph is called as what? Control flow graph. What do you mean by the control flow graph? The graph where or which is also referred as a directed graph. The graph where the flow of control of information is shown. Okay, that particular graph is considered as a control flow graph. That last time I already told you. I already told you. Okay. So to do the global optimization, two techniques are required: the control flow analysis and the data flow analysis techniques are required. Okay, so details related with this next time also we will discuss. So I hope all of you are got the clear idea what exactly is the global optimization, local optimization, and the global optimization, and what are the differences between them. Okay, then now related with the local optimization, there are the different kind of code optimization techniques are there. Okay, so today we'll discuss the what are the different techniques are there in the local optimization. Now these techniques already we have discussed in the common technique of optimization. Still, as a part of the local optimization, we have to discuss these techniques here. Now we can see the as already we have discussed the optimization which is performed within the basic block, that is called as a local optimization. So it is a simple kind of optimization technique. Okay, no need to analyze the whole code or the all the procedures or the functions of your program. So generally there are the following techniques are there which comes under the category of local optimization, like constant folding, constant propagation, then algebraic simplification, operator strength reduction, copy propagation, dead code elimination, and lastly we have the common sub expression elimination is also considered as a what you can say the local optimization technique. Okay, so here we have constant folding. Okay, so constant folding is what already last time we have discussed. Evaluation of expression at a compile time whose operands to be a constant, means instead of evaluating the expression during the runtime, if it is possible, the evaluation can be done at the compile time only. Okay, then that is called as a constant folding. Okay, so let's see here. If an expression such as 10 plus 2 into 3 is there in your code, the compiler can compute the result of that during the compile time only. The result will be the 16. And thus, the compiler replace this expression with such kind of values. Okay. So all the values are present, then evaluation can be done at the compile time only. Understood? So this kind of thing is called as a constant folding. Okay, this technique is referred as a constant folding. Okay, so if all the values or constants are available, then such expression can be evaluated during the compile time only. And for this expression, in the next part of the program, the value 16 can be get replaced. Understood by the compiler. So that is the constant folding. Here I have mentioned evaluation of expression at a compile time whose operand in the sense values are known to be the constant. So if an expression such as this is encountered by a compiler can compute the result at compile time only as a 16 and does replace the expression with that value. Okay. So replacing the variable with the constant value or doing the evaluation of certain constant value expression at the compile time, that is considered as a constant folding. Okay. Then next we have the constant propagation, that also we have discussed now. If a variable is assigned some constant value, then subsequent use of that variable can be replaced by that constant. Okay. Let's see the example. Suppose temp4 equal to 0, then f0 equal to temp4, temp5 equal to 1, f1 equal to temp5, temp6 equal to 2, I equal to temp6. Now, can you call this as a only a single basic block? Yes, this is a single basic block. There is a no jumping instruction. These all the instruction will get executed sequentially. So this is a single basic block. If the optimization is performed within the single basic block only, then that is considered as a local optimization. Understood? So that you can see here. That is the reason this comes under the category of local optimization, this constant propagation technique. So how the optimization can be performed here? Now for these two statement, you can directly write the single statement f0 equal to 0. Understood? No need to utilize the temp4 here. Then again for these two statement, you can directly write f1 equal to 1. Then for these two statement, you can directly write I equal to 2. Understood? So this is nothing but the optimized code. And how you have done this optimization? Only within a single basic block. Okay. So that is a constant propagation. What it means? If a variable is assigned a constant value, then subsequent use of that variable can be replaced by that constant. Understood? So like temp is here, here temp is assigned the value. For the temp, 0 is value, 0 value is assigned. Understood? So then why should we write here temp4? We should write here only the 0 only. Understood? That is the reason you can directly write here for this two statement. Optimized code can be write like this: f0 equal to 0. Understood? So that is the constant propagation local optimization. Okay. Then next we have algebraic simplification. Okay. So algebraic simplification means here we utilize some algebraic properties, okay, or the operand operator combination we make here. And so using the properties of the algebra, if you do the optimization, then it is referred as algebraic simplification optimization. So let's see the example. For example, such kind of the expression we used to write in the program code, like x equal to 0. Now there is no need to write such kind of things. Directly you can write x, because adding the 0 to the x, it is not making any kind of sense. Or 0 plus x also you can directly write x. So compiler does this kind of optimization. Okay, if the programmer has written such kind of things in his program, the compiler automatically do this kind of replacement. If you are written x equal to x into 1, then it is also not having any sense. So it can be written directly like as x. 1 into x can be written like this: 0 by x. Instead of writing 0 divided x, directly you can write 0. X minus 0 also not making any sense, so compiler can do the its optimization as a x. So using the some properties of the algebra, uh, the kind of optimization performed, that is referred as a algebraic simplification. Okay. So this is a, if you can see this now this instruction will get executed sequentially. Understood? So this is forming one basic block. So if you do the optimization within a basic block, that is referred as a local optimization. Okay. Then next we have the operator strength reduction technique, that also previously we have seen, where we replace the high strength operator. High strength operator is get replaced by the low strength operator. Okay. Like if there is a certain kind of expression I into 2 or 2 into I, so for that you can simply write I plus I, because plus is less expensive, less strength operator as compared with the star. If I divided by 2, like this is an expression, then you can write it like this: I into 0.5, because strength of the division operator is more as compared with the star. So you can write star for that, and you can write the expression like this: 0 minus I. Okay, it can be written like this: minus I only, f into 2. So f into 2 can be written, f into 2 or 2.0 into f can be written like this: f plus f. Okay, so replacing the star multiplication with the plus. So this kind of things is there in the operator strength reduction. So it is also get performed within a basic block. That is the reason this also comes under the category of local optimization technique. Okay. Then we have the copy propagation. Okay, so copy propagation, it is just like the constant propagation, but here we are not using the constant value. Non-constant value are if in your program non-constant value are utilized, and then if the optimization is performed on that, that is called as a copy propagation. Like for example, here you have written temp2 equal to temp1, and in next temp3 equal to temp2 into the temp1. Okay, now and then like this statement, we have temp4 equal to temp3, temp5 equal to temp3 into temp2, like this. So now for these two expression, okay, now you can directly write the optimization will be get performed like this: temp3 equal to temp1 into the temp1. What? Temp3 equal to temp1 into the temp1. Okay, what is the reason behind that? Because you have already here what you have done, you have assigned temp1 to the temp2. So instead of writing temp2 here, directly you can write the temp1. Understood? Then also here you can see for these two expression also, the optimization can be performed and only one statement can be written as a optimized code: temp5 equal to temp3 into the temp1. Temp5 equal to temp3 into the temp1. Why temp1 you have written? Because as you can see here, you have assigned the temp1 to the temp2. Understood? Okay, that is the reason. Then for the next, c equal to temp5 plus temp4, for this expression can be written like this: c equal to temp5 plus temp3, because here you can see you have assigned temp3 to the temp4. So instead of temp4 here, you can directly write the temp3. So here non-constant values are getting propagated. Okay, instead of constant value, non-constant value getting propagated. That is the reason such optimization is called as a copy propagation. Understood? So this is a continuous sequence of statement. You can call it as a one basic block, and if the optimization performed within the basic block, that is referred as a copy propagation local optimization. Understood? Then next we have next technique we have, that is a now dead code elimination. Okay, I forget to write here. Actually, it is a dead code elimination. Okay, so already last in the previous uh, optimization technique lecture also I told you what is this. If an instruction result is never used, the instruction is considered as a dead and can be removed. So sir, sometimes from the programmer what happened, programmer write the multiple lines of code, and in that code such, but there can be a single or multiple instruction, and that instruction never get utilized. Okay, then that particular certain instruction is referred as a dead code. Understood? And it can be optimized by the compiler by removing that dead code. Understood? So consider, if you consider the statement like this: temp1 equal to temp2 plus temp3, and if temp1 is never used again, then we can eliminate it. Understood? So if there are the certain lines of code is there, and if you see this is the line number 10. Okay, and the below also number of statement. But in this programming, in this program or in this code, if this instruction is never get utilized, then this is considered as a dead instruction or the dead code. So elimination of that dead code is also comes under the category of local optimization. That is a considered as a local dead code elimination as a local optimization technique. Okay, then uh, and lastly, we have the common sub expression elimination. The same example I am taking, just that we have taken in the our previous lecture. So first you need to understand what exactly mean by the common sub expression. So the expression that is been already computed before and appear again in the code for computation, that is called as a common sub expression. Okay. So as the name suggests, this technique related with the eliminating the such kind of common sub expression. So you can call the redundant expression also. You can also call the redundant expression to the common sub expression. So redundant expression are eliminated to avoid their recomputation. Understood? So the already computed result is used in the further program when required. Okay. So for example, if you consider this sequence of statement, S1 equal to 4 into I, S2 equal to A of S1, S3 equal to 4 into J, S4 equal to 4 into I, S5 equal to N, S6 equal to like this. Now in this sequence of statement, the 4 into I is already computed here, and still it is being getting computed once again here. So this is a redundant expression. Understood? And how it can be then optimized? So in order to optimize it, you can write this instruction first, then S2, S3. So you can directly eliminate this sub expression as a part of the common sub expression elimination, and you can write the rest of the part as it. So if you consider this as a one, now can you call it as a one basic block? Yes, because there is no jumping, etc., etc., jump in this code. All the instruction statement will get executed one by one sequentially. So this is a sequence of consecutive statements. Understood? So it is forming the one basic block. So if you perform the optimization within this basic block, then it is considered as a local optimization. And the technique for that is common sub expression elimination. So common sub, that is the reason common sub expression elimination come under the local optimization also. So this is considered as a local common sub expression elimination. Okay. So within a global optimization also, this technique is there. Understood? That when you see that, that time I will tell you. Okay. Now, so that is all about the different kind of techniques in case of the local optimization. Okay. Now, next we have to study, that is a next point that we have to study is a DAG based local optimization. Now already before this also we have studied the concept of DAG. So here, as you know, DAG is stands for the directed acyclic graph. Okay, we have discussed it in the different types of the intermediate core. Okay, so our today's point here is what can we utilize the DAG to do the optimization, and specifically to do the local optimization. Okay, so yes, DAG is a very useful data structure for implementing the transformation on the basic block. Means DAG can be utilized to do the optimization. Okay, DAG can be utilized to do the optimization. So today we are going to discuss about how utilizing the DAG optimization can be done. How the DAG is helping to do the optimization. Okay. So as I mentioned here, DAG is constructed for the optimizing the basic block. Okay. A DAG is usually constructed using the three address code that already you know in the previous lectures we have discussed. Okay. So can the DAG perform the optimization in particular basic block that we have to discuss? So using the DAG, two kind of optimization can be done. Okay, one in that is the dead code elimination can be done, and another is the common sub expression elimination can also be done with the help of the DAG. Okay, so we'll just see how it can be done. Before that, you must understand what are the different purposes of utilizing the DAG or the different application of such DAG. So to determine the expression which have been computed more than once, means to detect the common sub expression, there is utilization of DAG. Okay, now how DAG can determine or detect the common sub expression, that I will tell you in the next example. Okay, so that is one of the application of DAG to determine or detect the common sub expression. Then to determine the names whose computation has been done outside the block but use inside the block. To detect that thing also there is utilization of DAG, as well as to detect or determine the statement of the block whose computed value can be made available outside the block. So for the different purpose DAG is utilized, but DAG is most beneficial or applicable to this first application, that is to detect the expression that is whose value already being computed. Such kind of expression we are calling as a common sub expression. So for the detection of common sub expression, generally DAG is most useful. Okay. Now, how to construct the DAG? DAG also last time I told you. Still, I have mentioned here the rules of constructing the DAG. Like the interior nodes always represent the operators in the DAG. External node always represent the name identifier or the constant. So in the rule 2, while you are constructing the DAG, always check is made, or every time you have to see and check or the examine if there exists any node with the same value. So in case of the DAG, for the same value, if there are the 4 5 same values are there in your program, or sub expression are there in the program, then using the DAG, these things can be easily detected, because we draw the DAG, or DAG is designed or made. In case of that, only the single node is being drawn, only the single node is there in the DAG for the particular multiple same values. Okay. So as I mentioned here, a new node is created only when there does not exist any node with the same value. If there are the 4 to 5 sub expressions, same sub expressions are there in your code, then for that only one node can be only one node is created uh, by using the DAG. Okay, so according to the properties of the DAG, for the same value, only one node is exist. Even if there are the 5 4 6 same values are there, for all that value only one node is exist in the DAG, and that helps in detecting the common sub expression in the DAG. Okay, so this property that I am telling you, this property of the DAG helps to detect the common sub expression. Understood? And because of that, recomputation of that expression is also get avoided. If the common sub expression is detected, then its recomputation is avoided. Okay. So how it is possible? It is possible because of the property of the DAG. What is the property of the DAG? Property is what? Only one node is being created for multiple same values. Okay, and because of that, common sub expression can be easily detected. Okay, let's see the example so that you will get the clear idea. Now we have given the example a in bracket a plus b into another bracket a plus b plus c. So for this three address code, can be written like this. Okay, I am showing you here the two cases. Okay, three address code which is unoptimized, and the next I will show the three address code which is optimized. So this is unoptimized three address code. So three address code be generated like this. For this sub expression, t1 equal to a plus b. Then for next sub expression also you can have the three address code t2 equal to a plus b. Then t3 equal to this result is in the T2, that's why the T2 plus C, and lastly T4 equal to T1 into T3. This is T1, this is T3. Okay. Now, if you go for drawing the or creating the DAG for this, now you can see T1 equal to A plus B. So you will draw like this: T1 equal to A plus B. What is the name of that node? T1. Then T2 equal to also the A plus B. Now in the DAG, separate node will not be created for the T2, because A plus B is already computed and it is all node for that already created here. So as according to the property of the DAG, no, if the always checking has to be made, or the check has to be done. Okay, you have to see in the DAG for the particular, now for this sub expression already node is created. Now again same sub expression is getting repeated. So you can see here, by making the comma, I am writing here the T2. Understood? Because A plus B is already computed. Understood? A plus B is already computed. Understood? And according to the property of DAG, for the same value, if for the particular sub expression which is appearing multiple number of times, only one node is created. What? Only one node is created. So that's why we are writing like T1 comma T2, because T1 is also representing the same sub expression and the T2 also representing the same sub expression. So that is the reason here you can see only one node is created here for the two expression, because A plus B is what? A plus B is the common sub expression. Then T3 equal to T2 plus C, like this you can have, and T4 equal to T into 3, like this. Okay. Now this is the DAG for the unoptimized code, and you can easily see here T1 comma T2. Now this DAG easily can easily tell us that these two T1 and the T2, this both of this storing the same result, that is of A plus B. Okay, that is the result of A plus B. Understood? So then you can see here the common sub expression is getting detected easily because you have given two names to the single node. What you have given the two names to the single node? It means what? This is the common sub expression, which A plus B. Understood? And that is the reason in case of the DAG, such kind of expression, the common sub expression can be easily get detected. If there are the more than one name is given to the node, you can easily see here. It means that this is the common sub expression. Understood? So if you optimize this code, now after optimizing this code can be written like this: T1 equal to A plus B and T2 equal to T1 plus C, because T1 already you have computed and it results in the T1. So why should you write this second intermediate code statement for the A plus B again? No need. So then T2 equal to T1 plus C, T3 equal to, and for this is a, again you can see this is the modified directed acyclic graph. Okay, for this optimized code. So here you can see T1 containing the result of A plus B. Okay, so here as I see, you can see the common sub expression A plus B has been expressed into a single node in the DAG. Which single node? This single node. Okay, so the computation is carried out only once, and the result is stored in the T1 and can be reused later. So here you can see here we have computed it once and we have stored the result in the T1, and that here I can see it is again repeated. So next time we will not going to compute the A plus B, we will just utilize the variable who's storing the result of that A plus B, that is T1. Okay, so same thing is being shown in the DAG. Okay, here T2 equal to T1 plus C, so T2 equal to T1, so this T1 is utilized plus C. Understood? So when the in the second expression T1 when the A plus B result is required, A plus B is not computed again. Okay, instead of that T1 is utilized. Understood? So same thing is mentioned here. So from this you must able to understand that this example shows that construction scheme of DAG identify the common sub expression. Which common sub expression it identify? A plus B. And because of that, because of identification of common sub expression, it help us to eliminate its recomputation as a recomputation latter. Okay, as a part of the local optimization. So here there is no required to recompute the A plus B. Okay, because A plus B result is already being stored here in the T1. Okay, so in this way you can easily see how DAG help us to determine or to detect the common sub expression here, as you can see here. Okay, in this example or in this example. Understood? So here, as I have mentioned, the common sub expression A plus B has been expressed into a single node in the DAG. Even it is repeated two times, in case of the DAG, it is being represented using the single node only. Understood? So in this way, the directed acyclic graph help us to do the local optimization. Understood? And how it helps, that as you can see the in this example that I have shown you, and because of the one property of the DAG, what property? That for multiple same values only the single node is created. So because of that, the common sub expression is can be get easily detected. Understood? So that is all about the DAG based local optimization. Okay, so I hope all of you understood all this point, how the DAG identify the common sub expression that I have shown you here. Okay, and also because of detection of common sub expression, there is a no need to do the recomputation of that particular expression later on if that sub expression is get repeated in the further part of the program. Okay, so that's it from the today's lecture. If you have any doubt, please mention in the comment section. Okay, I will try to clear all your all the doubts. Okay, thank you all of you.